It seems like he's just really, really poking at the MMA guys. And he doesn't really. I just saw him reply to the game. Like he really just doesn't care. Like he's burning bridges right and left, and like he's gonna get caught somewhere. Somebody's not gonna play the game that he's playing, and especially when you're playing with fighters and guys like the game, dude. I wouldn't talk shit to the game, and I wouldn't talk shit about the cartel. That's like the two rules for me. Like gangsters and cartel, I don't fuck around with, dude. I do not fuck around with. And the game said something like, I'll meet you at Staples Center with my boys and we'll see who can fight. And then like Jake Paul said something like, love it or hate it, which is one of the game's hit songs. He's like, love it or hate it, you'd get knocked the fuck out. I wouldn't personally say that to the game, but I mean, like it is interesting that he's so into this Conor McGregor, like talk shit about everybody kind of thing. And then he didn't waste any time to come at Cody Garbrandt right after his loss. I mean, just a devastating loss for Cody. And I'm sure you know, but he said basically was ribbing him about being short and what's worse, losing or being short kind of thing. And it's just like he's really like jabbing at the MMA guys. What's your take on that, just in general? I mean, you're talking about a guy who is one of the biggest, I guess, kind of draws in boxing, but he's never fought a guy who even trains in boxing. So it's not like he hasn't fought a boxer. He hasn't fought a guy who even trains in boxing yet. And he's like such a big draw and such a big, newsmaker, I guess, as you want to call it.
It's a weird phenomenon.
It's crazy,
right? Sometimes these things happen and they kind of turn a mirror on society and what we're hungry for, which is, sometimes it can be quite surreal. It's a bit like an episode of Black Mirror. I never know, not sure whether you got into that or not.
Yeah,
but it's like people are more interested in celebrities.
Yeah,
they're more interested in celebrities fighting. What's more important, the fighting ability or the fame of the person? Currently, it's the fame of the person, and that's there's some of the responsibility falls on the MMA guys, to start promoting themselves better and to be more marketable. Because I mean, Jake Paul's achieved a lot without boxing skills, as you said, but he also knows that he's quite calculated in what he's doing. I mean, you and I both know Ben Askren, great in MMA, but in boxing he was never going to be any use to anybody.
Right.
And like Tyron Woodley's calling him out. He's not even sniffed at Tyron Woodley. There's not even a mention. He's out of contract. He's around the same weight, and he's a deadly puncher. There's no way that Jake Paul will take that fight, but he'll pick on Cody Garbrandt, who's like 5'7" and 135 pounds.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing's a circus, but at the same time, it's not only has it turned a mirror on us as a society and what we have an appetite for, it's also turned a mirror on how much money can be made, and where that money's going. The fact that Ben Askren went over there and probably made more than all of his UFC fights put together, and maybe all of his one championship fights as well. I mean, I don't know what the pay there was, but you've got to imagine he made a lot of money.
I think he made like $2 million. I heard. I don't know, maybe like one or two. For sure one, but I think maybe two, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know for sure.
It's going to make a lot of people consider the free market. It's going to make a lot of people consider fighting out their contracts and then taking some of these random celebrity matches. I mean, at the end of the day, we are prize fighters, and we should go where the prize is biggest. That's the smart thing to do. Whether you consider the biggest prize to be the UFC world title or the zeros on the end of your check, it's one or the other.